person and virtually. So know that. I'm really excited. Y'all always swerving somebody talking about what y'all was talking about. Yes. So I
Oh
said, let
God,
me let me see what I could find.
that's Laverne's problem.
Might be
Laverne did that.
might be something I could find on the situation. And
Oh God.
I found some stuff on the situation.
Mm-mm.
And so I'm going to tell you what I found out. And
Unmute yourself, Darlene.
oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You get my socials together. But you guys yesterday started talking about emotions and negative emotions at that. And I can tell you that specifically when you talk about jealousy is also connected to envy. And these negative emotions, man, can really wreak on the body. When you talk about jealousy, what exactly is jealousy? Jealousy is often a very painful emotional response that usually occurs in relationships when somebody feels threatened in some way. Um, it may come from seeing a partner in a position that you don't want to see him in. Um, Exes was a big conversation yesterday. It could be potentially any of those things, but there's so much underlying fear beneath jealousy. Jealousy brings up the fear of losing the person that you care about to somebody else. Jealousy is also connected to feelings of insecurity or insecure connection um, in your partner relationship. And it's not just jealousy in relationship in romantic relationships. It could be jealousy with siblings. It could be jealousy of a coworker or somebody else that you are watching. Yes, in business that's growing faster than you or whatever it is, but it's all negative. And when jealousy is not addressed, when it comes up in any relationship, all kinds of effects emerge. Jealousy can lead to physical and emotional distress for the person who's experiencing it. It absolutely will put a strain on your relationship, distorting the communication and the freedom of both partners when somebody is jealous. In extreme cases, it can lead to verbal and physical abuse within and inside that relationship. Um, I have seen jealousy at its worst in people. It will cause people to limit how they move because they don't want to cause any problems. It has. I saw one situation where it was once they married. I don't even remember if they were married or not, but the wife was so insecure, and the poor husband wasn't doing anything. She put tape recorders in the car. She put, all kinds of things to make him feel very uncomfortable. And she even put, when she put the tape recorder in the car, she thought she heard another woman in the car, but it wasn't. Her mind was so trained on he's definitely cheating on me, he's definitely doing this, he's definitely doing that, that her mind made her think and see things that did not exist. And we found out that it did not exist because the husband took a lie detector test to determine that these things were not true. And it just made her look extremely crazy. And when you are going to those extremes with your partner, don't expect to be in that relationship long because eventually that innocent party that's being accused will eventually walk away. It's just not a good thing. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. And eventually people get tired of that. And so the I'm gonna need you to pay attention or mute your phone, Mr. Satch.
I'm sorry. He is paying attention.
And so jealousy has
Darlaina, join the meeting.
jealousy has got to be addressed. And the way you address it is with open communication. It has to be discussed, brought to light, and those fears that a jealous partner may have can be quelled or relieved just by open communication. If open communication is not enough, you may need a third party, as in counseling or coaching around that. Jealousy can be a natural part of a relationship, which can be challenging and lead to all kinds of destructive effects. But if it's addressed properly, it can absolutely lead to better and greater emotional connection, freedom, and personal growth. And that just is all of jealousy. But there's so many other negative emotions, and these negative emotions affect your health across the board. Positive emotions affect your health as well. So you want to kind of lean more towards the positive versus the negative, because every feeling that you have affects some part of the body. So positive emotions like gratitude has been scientifically linked to a number of beneficial health effects. And negative emotions on the other end of the spectrum can wreak total havoc on your body, especially if you're not exercising, if you're not eating right. Both of these can really ease pessimism and keep stress in check. And so it's really interesting to note that emotions are known to be associated with pain in certain regions of the body. Even science can't explain why that is. For example, people who are suffering with depression will often experience chest pain, even if there's nothing physically wrong with their heart. Extreme grief can also have a devastating impact. There's research that confirms that days following the loss of a loved one, your risk of suffering a heart attack increases by 21 times. And so we have to really be mindful of how we are allowing these emotions to affect us. The exact mechanics of the mind body links are still being unraveled. But what is known that your brain and consequently your thoughts and emotions play a very big role in your experience of physical pain and can contribute to the development of chronic disease. And as a result, this upwelling of mind body therapies that have taken on these emotions and physical health into account has really helped the masses. And so there's science around negative emotions, specifically anger. When you think about anger and becoming angry, allowing yourself to get angry and yell, there is a biochemical cascade of things that occur during a bout of anger. Hey, Jessica, what happens is stress chemicals associated with fight or flight response are released, preparing your body for quick action. The stress response begins in your brain, and when your eyes and ears register a sudden threat, like a car going into your lane, information is sent to that part of your brain called the amygdala, a brain area that interprets the images and sounds involving processing these emotions and interpreting these sights and sounds as an impending threat. It sends a distress symptom, a distress signal to your hypothalamus, which can likened to the central command center of your entire body. So it communicates with different parts of the body and the organs via this autonomic nervous system, right? Which is responsible for the involuntary bodily functions such as breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, dilation, and constriction of blood vessels, right? So all of this is happening. Your nervous system has these two branches, sympathetic and the which triggers the fight or flight, and then the parasympathetic, which promotes rest and digest and responses that calm the body back down once you're no longer in danger. But as this amygdala is sending this distress syndrome to signal to your hypothalamus, right? It activates your nervous system, the adrenal glands to release adrenaline. Come on, calling me. Okay, all right. Releasing this adrenaline, and this sudden release of stress chemicals causes your heart rate and your blood pressure to increase, which in turn make you breathe rapidly. And then it releases glucose and fats from the storage sites in your body, giving your body a quick boost of energy. Blood rushes towards your extremities, including your face, while some people turn red in their face. And this chain of events occurs so quickly, it's already in full swing before your brain's visual center has fully processed what's happening on the road. That's when somebody cuts you off. All of these things happen when you get angry because you got cut off or because something else has happened. And so to maintain or regain emotional control, you need to engage now the prefrontal cortex of the brain. This controls your executive functions, including complex cognitive and social behavior, your personality expressions, willpower, decision making, and judgment. All of this engagement, without it, you would be unable to have any kind of self-constraint or logical thought process. So all of this is happening because what? Somebody cut you off. Somebody made you angry, and it's your body is giving all these fight or flight, all this cortisol, all this stuff is coming out because either you about to fight or you about to run, one of the two. And again, that's because somebody cut you off or because somebody did something to you. Do you want to take your body and your brain through all of these things because somebody cut you off on the road? There was a 2015 study done on how subliminal anger messages affect your decision-making skills. It says the behavior and psychological impact of anger states compromising the efficiency of cognitive processing through action-ready changes in the autonomic responses skew the neural activity. So it just messes up everything. And so the way that you combat that, you have to strengthen this part of your brain to help improve your self-control. And to help improve your self-control, guess what you should do? Eat a healthy diet. It always comes back to the food, right? Eat a healthy diet with high quality fats, getting enough sleep. Craig, go to bed. Get some sleep. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Getting regular physical exercise. When it comes to strengthening that prefrontal cortex that allows you to think properly, it's important for you to get those that rest. Relaxing exercises like Tai Chi or yoga, and even intense workouts will help with that. Managing your daily stress. This prefrontal cortex starts to lose the battle when chronically flooded with stress chemicals. By not allowing the stress to turn chronic, you'll be far better able to control your stress levels. And it's important to do that. People who don't do anything about being stressed on a daily basis, that is when you start to introduce chronic illness to the body, because you are absolutely stressed beyond measure. So you have to take control so that you are not stressed on a regular basis. Learning what to do when you feel stressed, like meditation, has been shown to help with that decision making in that prefrontal cortex. Stress management and self awareness. When anger strikes, when you feel angry, stop. Take a few deep breaths to reoxygenate your brain before responding. Because guess what? Shorter fuse people live shorter lives. So the shorter your fuse is for anger, you shorten your life. Frequent anger is associated with heightened risk of high blood pressure and heart problems, including heart attack and stroke. The biological reason for this is because of the epinephrine that constricts the blood vessels, making your heart work harder. Don't that make sense? And it reminds me of this uncle of mine, who he was just mad all the time. I mean, just angry all the time. I always wondered how my aunt stayed married to him for all of the time that she did, because he was so angry all the time. You come in the house and say hello, and his hello was even angry. Everything about him was angry. He was one of those uncles that he sat in front of the TV, he listened to BB King all the time, and he just was mad and angry. And he didn't even have a bad life. He lived in a nice house in the Germantown section of Philadelphia at the time when he was living. I was young, so it was really nice in that part of town. And so I never understood, but he absolutely died young because he was short fused. And when I tell you, when a burst of anger came out of that man, when we say the whole family took for the hills, out, gone. I mean, literally, you got to go out the house, because anybody in his path is getting knocked upside the head. That's my Uncle Alan. My Uncle Alan was like that. Oh my God, he was horrible. I remember one time he was coming after me, and all I was thinking was, if he got too close, I just was going to stab him. And I went home that day, and I never went back, because I never wanted to feel like I needed to kill somebody. I probably was 16 at the time, and I just was so afraid of him. But shorter fuse people live shorter lives. You know, your heart is working harder. All these increased levels of glucose and fatty acids in your blood, and when chronically happening, it damages your blood vessels and contributes to arteriosclerosis. And research has also shown that people who get angry easily tend to die sooner than their mellower peers. There was a study done of 1,300 men who were followed for 40 years. Compared to those in the least angry quarter, then those who were the angriest had 1.5 times the risk of dying early, even after accounting for other factors that correlate with mortality, like income level, marital, smoking status, even personality traits, higher cognitive ability, which can be protected. The association still remain. And the person who wrote it, he said, it's not just about being angry occasionally. These people were likely to have been consistently angry. It's okay to be angry an afternoon, or even even once a year. But the question is, we're talking about not just transient anger or anger from time to time. We're talking about a predisposition to anger, just angry all the time. And it's so, oh man, this is bringing up all kinds of thoughts about my uncle and how angry he was, all the time. And when he died, I felt like my aunt was like so relieved, like she loved him, but that angry every day, I couldn't imagine living with somebody that was angry every day. So an intense bout of anger has such risk. The risk of heart attack rises 5-fold in the midst of you screaming and hollering. In the midst of that. Something's happening.
Recording in progress.
I don't know what happened.
She'll be back, y'all.
I'm back.
See, that's anger.
That's the devil. That's the devil cut me off.
I don't even understand that one.
That's the devil that cut me off. I'm back.
OMG.
I'm back.
Here she is.
Here she goes. That wasn't angry. That's the devil.
Stop being so angry.
That's the devil. They trying not to let me get this good information out. That's what's happening. But yeah, so one intense bout of anger increases your risk of heart attack or stroke in the moment by 5 times. In you screaming and howling, it's just no way you're gonna hurt yourself by doing that, and it stays that way for 2 hours after your angry burst, compared to being calm and relaxed. Even greater among those who have a history of heart problems, circulation, all of that. People, especially with irregular heart rhythms, and other things like depression and loneliness, all of these things are linked to a higher risk of heart disease and stroke. And if you are allowing yourself to get angry to the point where you are screaming and hollering and all of that, it just increases your risk of making yourself even sicker. And guess what else? Suppressing negative emotion makes the matters even worse. So you cannot suppress it either. Suppressing is not the answer. It has been found to triple your risk of heart attack when you suppress the anger.
So how do you suppress
so if
something?
I can't,
so tell me, how do you suppress something? You say, I ain't gonna say it, I'm just...
No, suppressing your anger is like, what was that? Who's that used to do that? Fred Flintstone or one of those cartoons, wrestle, and just holding this, oh my God, oh my God. Like, you can't, you don't want to repress it. So what you have to do is you have to allow yourself to crazy. Like, something can make you angry, but that doesn't mean I'm going to fly off the handle and scream and holler and act a fool. That means I'm going to address it. I'm going to have a conversation about it. I'm going to see what it's all about. That's how you handle it. When somebody is treating you unfairly, or something just is not right. The same, if you suppress that anger and just leave it there, that just builds up. Now they say, oh, she bottling it up, pushing it down. And then after one drink or 2 or 3, everything that you was angry about now comes out. Because what they say, a drunk mind speaks a sober heart. Is that what it is? A drunk mind speaks a sober heart. And so you have to address it. You might not in that moment address it because you are feeling angry, but you may want to come back to it maybe after you've calmed down and say, listen, I really didn't like the way that you did this. And you address it, and now that brings up the anger and it relieves the anger. Not by screaming and hollering, but by communication. Because suppressing it can make you sick. There was a study who found that people who habitually emotion experience fewer negative emotions. So if you accept it, let it come up, let it come out, then it's relieved and it's gone. And when you have this accepting attitude that we all have negative emotions, you're not really giving them a whole bunch of attention. You're just constantly letting it come up and letting it go down. You're not judging your emotions, and you're not letting the negativity pile up. So trying to pretend like you don't feel what you feel, or judging your emotions harshly tends to cause more stress than feeling it and moving on. So people who allow sadness, disappointment, anger, or resentment to simply run its course, have fewer symptoms of mood disorder just by accepting what is, including your emotion. And it's what many meditation and yoga practices teaches you. Is just accepting your emotions. It's important, and so you accept that I feel a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so by accepting it, it allows it to come up and come out. Psychology Today says when you try to deny or stifle any parts of yourself, right, whether undesirable emotions, desire minute, but you need a sense of integration of wholeness inside to grow your well-being and capacity to handle the ups and the downs, the successes and the failures, all part of the relentless change and impermanence that characterizes life. And so that just means that we have to accept the things we can't do anything about and just allow it to be. If somebody cut you off on the road, right? What you gonna do? Chase them down?
Yep.
Run after? No. Cut them off. Go. Listen, I remember one time my ex-husband, he sped up to the person, pulled in front of them, and put on brakes. Like, not like, and I'm in the car holding on. Like, what are you doing? Like, really? Now you're gonna give me a heart attack and you're gonna have a heart attack too. Like, no, that's not what we do. You know, you got to give people the same grace that you want God to give you every day. So you got to give them grace that they having a bad day and you want to choose not to have a bad day with them. You're just going to leave it go. What point are you proving by doing whatever? No, no. So we want to let these emotions come up, come out, and release them. Repressed emotions, anger, fear, and rage are also a factor that contributes to chronic pain, especially back pain. So you want to be mindful that these things can lead to other problems in your body. That person is long gone, long gone. Now you got a headache. You done just let all kinds of emotions come up because you mad, and now it's all over your body. Guess what else chronic anger does? It increases your risk for dementia. So your brain health suffers these negative consequences if you're chronically angry, just chronically. There's a chronic anger known as cynical distrust, and it has been linked to higher risk of dementia. Cynical distrust is described as the belief that most people are out for themselves as opposed to looking out for others. In one study, seniors with a high degree of cynical distrust had more than 2.5 times greater risk of developing dementia than those with lower levels. The finding also adds to the growing research showing that negative emotions, cynicism in particular, contributes to poor health. It's dangerous in so many ways. The research has shown that women with cynical, hostile attitudes are more likely to die prematurely and have higher rates of death from coronary artery disease than women with positive future expectations. We don't got no time for this. People with cynical attitudes suffer from stress and do not get as much stress buffering benefits offered by positive social support. I'm so glad all of you are personally developing because you're not going to do any of this. You're not going to have any of this cynical hostility. Cynical hostility is associated with poor oral health. Cynical hostility is also associated with markers of inflammation, which can contribute to heart problems and dementia. Cynical hostility is associated with increased metabolic burden among middle-aged and older adults. Who got?
Is dementia the one you forget stuff?
Yes. And so many of the pains that we have is in these angry things all pushed to our bodies. You know, they say we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are connected mind, body, and soul, right? So if we're connected mind, body, and soul, everything that we experience is going to show up in some way. I can right now, from my research, my personal work that I do in emotional healing, tell me tell me an illness, and I'll tell you the emotion. Tell me an ailment, and I'll tell you the emotion that caused it. I got my Bible right here. Arthritis. Arthritis is right here. Let me see. Arthritis.
Type it if y'all got one.
Arthritis. Feeling unloved, criticism, and resentment. That also falls under joints. And let me look at joints. Joints represents changing in direction in life and the ease of these movements. Think about yourself. If that is you, think about if these things apply to you. More than likely, they do. But when you look at what the ailment is, this mental cause, just look and see if it could be true for you. If not, sit quietly and ask yourself, what could be the thoughts in me that has created? And then repeat to yourself, I am willing to release the pattern in my consciousness that has created this condition. And then ask me what the new thought pattern should be for you, for whatever the condition is. So under arthritis, right, there is a new thought pattern. Let me go to it. So under arthritis, if the probable cause is feeling unloved, criticism, and resentment, the new thought pattern is I am loved. I now choose to love and approve of myself. I see others with love. Now, when Vaughn was sick with cancer and I looked up cancer, in here, this is where I learned that cancer is a disease of anger, deep hurt, regret, and deep grief. Now, if you think about anybody that you know with cancer, you will absolutely be able to find one of those four things in that person. It has been 100% true for every person that I've ever talked to who's had cancer. In the example of my mom had cancer, and cancer is a deep grief. My mother lost my father, right? Her and my dad had been together since they were 15 and 17. So she lost my dad, right? And then she lost my brother. And then my nephew. All people that a mother and grandmother should not be burying. And so in a matter of, I want to say a year after my brother passed, my mother developed cancer.
Wow.
I saw somebody put something up. If you want me to look up another ailment, just put it back in the comments so I can see it. I missed it. I didn't see what it was. Thyroid. Let's see. Thyroid.
The other one was static. I could just go with thyroid.
This is when I talk to people, this is where I start. I always start here. Thyroid, humiliation. I never get to do what I want to do. When is it going to be my turn? The new thought pattern is I move beyond old limitations and now allow myself to express freely and creatively. I saw high blood pressure. Let me go to high blood pressure. Hold on. This is my Bible. This is where I start with every person that I work with. Uh, Blood pressure. Long-standing emotional problem not solved. Long-standing emotional problem not solved. The new thought pattern is I joyously release the past. I am at peace. So Louise Hay in this list that she started with is part one, right? Part one is finding the ailment and then the emotion that caused it, and then we give you the new thought pattern to what you should be saying to yourself on a daily basis. Write it down, say it every time you go in the bathroom, say it every time you think about it, and it releases a new to permeate the brain, right? The second part to that is the emotional work that I do with the emotion code practitioner. I can help you to determine when those thought patterns got placed in you that's caused this disease. Whether it happened when you were 10 or 25 or 35, and then using magnetic therapy, using the meridians of the body, I can then help to pull them out of you without having to do
Join the meeting.
without having to do the affirmations alone. So it kind of works hand in hand. So we got part one and part two.
But do you need to get rid of? So you just said something. For the high blood pressure, what did you just say for high blood pressure?
Long-standing emotional problem not dealt with. Sometimes.
So do we? So you said that.
Mm-hmm.
I know the problem. What you're saying that I haven't dealt with.
Okay.
But then you said the change of the thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But don't I need to get rid of that problem knowing that before I even if I did start thinking it, I still got to address.
Absolutely. So that's part of the process. So determine what the issue is, right? Okay, we know what that is. So this is what we need. You're gonna come up with the steps to what you need to do to handle that. But in the interim, while you're handling that, we're gonna bring it up and bring it out. And now that you know that that's that, we're gonna relieve it from your body, and then you're gonna go and handle it so that it does not reoccur.
Okay.
Yes. Somebody said insulin. Insulin is diabetes. Let's see. Hold on. Diabetes, longing for what might have been, to control, deep sorrow, no sweetness left. And so the new thought pattern is this moment is filled with joy. I now choose to experience the sweetness of today. And so a lot of times what we do as grown adults is we take these emotional feelings that we have and we press them down. And by pressing them down, we say, "Oh, I'm strong." And then what happens is we compartmentalize. We put some in this box, and then some in that box, and some in this box, and eventually those boxes open up and things seep out. And when they seep out into your very being. And when they seep out into your very being, they show up as disease. Because again, disease is dis-ease. People that come up with some of this stuff, these are things that happen in your childhood. Your inner child is angry or hurt or sad, or something happened that shouldn't have happened, or you didn't get married when you thought you should, you didn't get the job you were supposed to do, and you just pressed all that down and didn't deal with the emotion. So then the emotion is now trapped in some part of your body, causing this disease. And so what my work allows me to do is to help you to, one, identify the emotion, and then identify when it happens. See, in the emotion code, what I get to do is have conversation with your subconscious mind. See, your subconscious mind, your whole life. Your whole life, your subconscious mind has been with you. It knows everything. It has not forgotten anything. It knows who did it. It knows when they did it, and it knows how long it's been there. And so we can bring that up and out by using muscle testing. Remember, some of you, and we might have to share that video, Mr. Seth. Remember when we were on the cruise and we were doing, and I had Shirley come up, and I had Kevin Assign come up, and I had everybody to send negative emotion to Kevin.
Yeah.
And when everybody sent the negative emotions to him without saying a word, it weakened his whole body. And then I had everybody send positive emotions, and his body was strong again. And so all of the things that we experience in our environment, long periods of time with negative people and negative situations, negative jobs, all of that negative stuff turns into dis-ease, because we are going to a place. I remember when I worked at one of these jobs where it was full of just bad things happening. I wasn't able to just go in and do my job. I was attacked. I was penalized for a whole lot of things. I even had my manager stand over me one time and say, "You can't wear low-ride pants at work." I said, "I don't have on low-ride pants. You're standing over my back while I'm sitting down." Then she measured my heels and told me I couldn't wear heels more than 4 inches.
Get out of here.
I swear to you, this lady, whatever she could do to make my day crazy, she did it. And it caused me to have such anxiety that I thought I was having a heart attack. I was taken out of the job in an ambulance because they thought and I thought that I was having a heart attack. But it wasn't. It was anxiety for what they were doing. So if you are in a space like that, and right now work is all, virtual, and so a lot of people aren't at work, but it doesn't change the way that you're being treated. If you're being treated in a way that's causing you anxiety or emotional distress, that emotional distress is going to show up in some form of illness. And so we have to examine the illness, the emotional cause, and then bring that stuff up and out. And that's the way you get to live. When I look at my own health issues, my own health concerns. Hold on.
Laverne,
Yes.
what did you want to say? Hurry me up.
Okay. So yeah, because my background. So when you said about the blood pressure, and how it's about stored up emotions and stuff.
Yes.
I was diagnosed with blood pressure back in when I was pregnant with my first son in '94.
Yes.
And the more, and I don't like taking medicine.
Yes.
So I monitor it more than I do anything else. But the more I get in tune with what bothers me and what I suppress, the more I'm able to manage my blood pressure without medicine.
Absolutely. So I am a heart disease survivor.
So you don't have it.
Anything in relation to your heart represents your sense of and security. And so my heart disease was a manifestation of a broken heart. My ex-husband definitely dealt treacherously with me in just his behavior, and it literally broke my heart, and it manifested into heart disease. And once I learned that, I was able to deal with the emotional part of it, and then do therapies that take care of rebuilding and helping my heart to get strong again. And so probably once I learned all that and did all the work that I did, I no longer had that. I actually saw doctors that, they told me I had congestive heart failure. I was going to need a heart transplant, all of this. I couldn't think of a person that was alive beyond 5 years that had a heart transplant And I'm like, absolutely not. That's not the. And that's what made me really delve deeper into what this could possibly be. And after doing my work on my emotional work, and then doing some holistic work with supplements and whatnot, I went back to the doctor after 5 months of that, and they couldn't find anything wrong with my heart. They wanted to know who told me that I had that. Where did I get that from? I'm like, because I had gone to a new doctor. He said, I can't find any evidence of congestive heart failure. Who told you that? I said, it's in my records, it's in my charts, and that was, even after taking medication for over 2 years to get better. And that medication did nothing but suppress symptoms, so many side effects in relation to it, really changed my quality of life, what I was able to do while I was on the medication. And you all know that definitely I am not living that life anymore. And so if you have something that you want to discuss or talk about, when it comes to that, you want to find out what is in the Bible or the what the emotion code is saying, you want to, just reach out. Let me know. But you have to your emotional wellness. It is very important to notice what emotions you're feeling on a regular basis. Determine where it's coming from. Let it come up, let it come out. Feel it and let it pass. There's people who want to be so strong and want to keep their emotions in, but you can't. You cannot do that. You must allow them to come up and come out, whatever they are, whether that is crying, whether that's somebody made you angry. And that doesn't mean that when you're angry, you have to scream. I can't even remember the last time I screamed and hollered at someone in anger.
4 minutes.
I don't do it. I just don't. It's not. Nope. I can't. It's funny because you know what? When I feel myself getting angry over something that somebody does, I immediately think about that person and what their life experience must be. I'm like, he just mad because he in a Toyota, or he just mad because his wife probably wasn't nice to him last night, or he's not in shalom. Everything's broken, everything's missing. And so I give people that grace, and it doesn't, and I don't get angry. I kind of laugh a little. And and I just thank God that I'm not in that space. I said, ooh, I'm so glad I'm not like that. And I just laugh it off. And so you absolutely have to take yes, thank God for personal development. That along with knowing that negative emotions will make you sick. Because that whole thing is about negative emotions. The last thing I'm going to share with you is, when you feel anger or rage or jealousy or revenge or envy, you want to say to yourself, all is well. I love myself. I let go of my anger so I can see clearly. It's just a feeling. I allow myself to let it go. I am strong. Hold on. I am strong. I am bigger than this. I talk positively to myself. Become aware and accept your feelings and let it go. Go exercise, go outside, go become one with nature. Put your feet in the grass, in the sand, hug a tree, dance, jump around, have fun, meditate, breathe deeply, blow up a balloon that pushes that air out. Identify and feel your anger. Practice mindfulness. And so by doing these things, it will allow you, and that's all in my law of attraction planner. All of these things is how you combat allowing your body to get in dis-ease by recognizing the emotion, letting it come up and come out, and releasing it. And if you don't know, you have to find a thing that shifts you. For me, it's music. Is calling a friend. Is you have to find that thing. It may be going to watch a stand-up comedy show or a funny movie. You have to find the thing that shifts you, and then allow it to shift you so that you don't sit in anger. And giving people grace. We ask God, we like, Lord, please forgive me because I know that I'm not perfect and this, that, and the third. And so the same thing that you ask God for is the same thing that you have to extend to other people. So just be ready, willing, and able to do that. And then when something comes up, say two things. So what? So what? So what they cut me off? So what I wasn't invited? So what I didn't do well on the test? So what? So what? So what? So what? And so what causes this brain thing to happen? And it may even make you laugh. Remember, when you get angry, just say so what? And then as Big D says, lean back, let it pass. Lean back, let it pass. Lean back, let it pass. Because I'm not dying. I'm not dying because of anger. I'm not dying because I'm mad. I'm not dying for that. So lean back, let it pass, and just say so what. And if you want to talk about anything that you got going on, by all means, reach out and I got you. Back to you, Mr. Satcher.
Oh my God, that was excellent, you guys. Was that good? Okay, Marcus, where we go this one, bro? I gotta get it. Y'all give us some nines, some tens. Give it up right now. What you gonna say about that one, Billionaire? I gotta give you some.
I ain't really got much on this one, man. I'm trying to figure out how I can incorporate some so what's in some areas. I just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Hey, Darlaina, you know you did a good job. Darlaina,
it's always good information.
Today, babe.
Yes.
Look, it's good information, and I ain't got to throw nothing away. I ain't got to stop cooking nothing. I'm good for today. Until next week.
I love it.
Excellent.
Yes.
Ladies.
Lean back, let it pass.
So much, Darlaina.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
God bless. Take care and take charge.
Somebody else will.
Like it, right?
Yes.
What'd you say?
Somebody else will. So what? Lean back. Let it pass. And then laugh a little too. Laugh too.
Exactly.
Laugh hard. Somebody make you mad, just laugh. You know, the people that you mad at gonna start looking at you like, why she laughing?
Yeah.
Why she just laugh real hard. Just belly roll. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome, everybody. Go ahead, don't be late. I love you so much.
Gosh. Thank you,
yes, you're so welcome. Love you more.
All right.
Bye. All right, you guys. So don't let the anger get you. Don't let the jealousy get you. Just say so what and lean back and let it pass. Love you guys. See you next time.